Welcome to this daily guided meditation practice. This is the Attentive Mind. My name is Nathan, and I'll be guiding you through this meditation practice today. You have found yourself a seated position, one that is sturdy and comfortable, and your eyes can be either closed or open. If your eyes are open, your gaze is gently directed downwards. And let's begin this practice by finding the breath. Just notice wherever you feel the breath the most and gently bring your attention to it. And it is also helpful to take a couple of deep breaths to kind of get situated with our attention towards the breath. And if I'm interrupting you thinking right now, that's okay. Just return to the breath. And when you notice that you're lost in thought, just return back to the breath. Nothing complicated, only breathing, rising and falling. Come back to the breath, rising and falling. Now, notice how it feels that you are directing attention below yourself. How somehow you are behind your eyes, directing attention below, downwards, towards the breath. Just become aware of this feeling that you are in your head, looking down with attention towards the breath. And notice how this place in the middle of our head seems to feel contracted, maybe a little bit tight with this focusing energy, trying to concentrate to the breath. Now, don't even worry about what any of this means, what I'm about to say, or even how to do any of this. Just follow these words if you can. The place you feel contracted up in the head, see if you can just relax that contraction, that feeling of a tight grip. Just kind of relax it like you would relax a clenched hand. You almost feel a subtle release behind your eyes. And just notice what you notice here. After you've relaxed this place behind your eyes. Now, gently begin to, again, without even knowing how you do this, see if you can begin to just bring this place of contact, this thing that notices the breath. See if you can just bring it downwards through the mouth, the lower jaw, down the throat, the upper chest, and into the sensation of breathing. We're not imagining anything here. We're not picturing anything here. Notice the breath from the breath, but completely aware and relaxed. Notice how this sense of being aware, of looking at the breath, as if there are two things: the breath and the looker, the seer. And just notice when we allow the breath to see itself, that the subject is instantly seen through. There's only this breath from this breath. And don't worry if you don't get it, or if you're not understanding this. This isn't something to understand in the usual way. So don't even try. Just the breath knowing itself. Noticing breathing from breathing. And when you notice there may be a subject again, getting lost in thought or trying to figure this out or trying effort anyway, just recognize, okay, there it is again, and then return to the breath, not as a separate entity or a place from which you are aware, but we can almost say we allow the breath to just know itself again. All of our problems, our story, our responsibilities, our so-called life. Whose is it, really? Breathing. All right, you can look at the screen. I want to clear up a little bit to something that may be a hindrance or maybe a point of confusion that I experienced for a long time, and I still actually encounter it myself. But it's this in our normal meditation practice, what we've been doing for the last 700 days in a row. I ask you to bring your attention to the breath. And attention seems to be like this focusing thing. So then I ask, don't try so hard. We're not forcing our attention to the breath. We are lightly aware of the breath. We gently rest attention like a feather falling and then just resting gently on the countertop. So, in the same way we bring our attention there, but I want to make something clear that attention can be very much confused with focusing. When we return to the breath, it is not a focusing thing. We're not trying to focus. Because if you have been doing this for a while, or maybe you find some frustration in practice, a lot of the times we can become frustrated by trying to find the breath, but then getting lost in thought. And so we go right back down and then we get lost in thought. And it's like, damn it, I can't do this. And you go back down and you get lost in thought. And so it feels like this battle, like we're going to war. And it's because we're trying to use a conscious effort, a forcing of focus. And I call this the attentive mind, but I can see how deceiving that can actually be. Because attentive usually for most of us means to focus, to pay attention, and to like push your faculties into one thing. And when really we're doing, what I want to show you with attention is leaving thinking alone, first off. Knowing what it's like not to be lost in thought is utmost importance. And so our attention is usually stuck up here with the words and the worries and the problems and the issues and this and that and my story, my life, whatever. Thinking. When we leave it alone, we leave the thinking alone, then we can see what it is like that that there isn't this death that happens. That when thinking is left alone, there's something going on. And so when I ask you to bring attention to the breath, then as we do that for a while, I'll ask you, okay, well then what's doing the attention? What sees the breathing? Because what we call attention really is this thing of awareness. And the reason I even bring this up is because I was reading another teacher, Locke Kelly, who makes a very great distinction between what he calls local awareness and attention. Because he says you can't pay attention to something for a long time. And it's the same distinction I say as focusing and attention. And I can see how that can be confusing. So we're invited when we notice the breath and then we look back. We notice the breath and notice this duality of being a person up here looking down, as if there is something that has attention and pushes it. But when we allow that to relax and just return here without even understanding it, and just allowing the breath to be breathed, to allowing the breath to know itself, we can see that it is just open awareness itself. It's not focused in any way. It's really this opening. It's really this effortlessness. It's like I can say, does it take effort right now for you to see? It just happens. Or hear? It just happens. There's no like, I need to see or I need to hear. You can just sit back and it all just happens. Because awareness itself is like this. There's no effort needed. But because we are continuously lost in thought all the time, We begin with bring our attention to the breath. And then we ask, what is this attention? Where is it coming from? And when you see that there's no real place it comes from, then it's not a focus. It's an awareness. It's a knowingness, an openness. These are just words. So I hope that clears something up. Essentially, the point I want to make here is when I talk about attention, make it light. Not a strong focus. And I know I've said this before, but I need to reiterate the point. Not a strong focus. Not a clenching, not it's almost like a noticing that you are already aware of it. It's just realizing that there's already awareness of it. Just, oh, there it is again. And then you go back to the thoughts, but there's not this thing that goes back and forth. It feels that way. So just return to the breath and then see from the breath. What sees from the breath? That's the practice. Thank you for your time today. And as always, and without exception, I'll see you tomorrow.